Hello. Hello there, you guys. Welcome to another one of my live videos. And today I'm just going to be officially updating you on some more current latest news. So if you do consider drop your likes, and if you do consider subscribe to the channel as always. So reports are coming out now in relation to Paul Pogba, of course, as well, that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is considering, switching Paul Pogba's role, reportedly, of course, as well, after he failed to hit the heights against Watford yesterday. And I think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer now is considering a tactical switch for Paul Pogba, of course, as well. So I think he's willing to rotate Paul Pogba, and I think he's willing to put him in more like of a defensive role, to be quite honest with you, as well. Because I think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, does want to see another side of Paul Pogba's game, to be quite honest with you, because he was very, very poor yesterday, and he did fail to hit the heights against Watford, of course, as well. So with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, actually, rotating Paul Pogba's role, reportedly, this could cost us against Barcelona, of course, as well. So obviously, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, was reflecting on the game yesterday. Of course, Watford, dominated, a large period, of that game as well. They dominated the play. They had a lot of chances in the game as well. They played with a lot of freedom. They looked very, very energetic. I think Manchester United's midfield, looked totally overrun as well. Our currently midfield of course as well. And I think Manchester United, were just very, very slow. I think our build-up play was very, very slow. I think we lost the ball far too easily as well. We do know that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, of course, had currently made 4 changes of course as well. Manchester United, did still get over the line in the end. We did still get the victory of course as well. Which was very, very essential. To keep our top 4 ambitions alive. And I do think if we can take at least 15 points at the remainder of these 7 games, I do believe that Manchester United, can possibly, finish in the top 3 as well. But in relation to Paul Pogba, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is reportedly ready to rotate Paul Pogba and put him in like more of a defensive role, because obviously Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, wants to address them midfield issues of course as well. But for me, Paul Pogba looks much better, when he's playing in a free role, to be quite honest with you as well, because I like him when he's getting that freedom to express himself. He provides better service to the front when he's playing in the free role. Paul Pogba, he provides better service, to the front man, of course. He plays them key passes through. And Paul Pogba, was very, very poor yesterday, to be quite honest with you as well. I think his mindset on Real Madrid, to be quite honest with you as well. So it's likely that he is going to leave Manchester United this summer. But Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has reportedly said he's ready to switch Paul Pogba's role, and he's ready to put him in more of a defensive role, to be quite honest with you as well. So obviously he's reflecting on the game yesterday of how inconsistent Paul Pogba was, and the midfield was totally inconsistent of course as well, because obviously we saw yesterday, obviously Pogba playing alongside Matic and Herrera, and I do think Manchester United, need a centre defensive midfielder, that's fast and tenacious, of course, as well. Because I think since Matic has come back from injury, Matic has been very, very poor. He's been very, very ineffective in that midfield. Overall, his performances have improved under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, the Man matches, but we do need a centre defensive mid that's fast and tenacious, because Matic is slow, of course, is aging up as well. So as I did say, I've got strong reservations about him. Under Herrera in his last couple of games hasn't been playing to his potential best, of course, as well, because I thought Herrera was quite poor, yesterday, to be quite honest with you as well. And I do really, really like Herrera. And I think overall his performances, have improved under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, under Herrera's, of course, as well. But I do still think there's better midfielders out there than under Herrera, of course, as well. So Solskjaer, I think, may be keen on bringing a midfielder into Manchester United this summer, of course, as well. So I thought the midfield was very, very poor yesterday. I thought it was an overrunning midfield, to be quite honest with you. I thought Luke Shaw put a really, really good performance in, if I'm going to be quite honest. I thought Luke Shaw, was immense. I think he's really, really improved. And I think the left-hand side, Manchester United are okay on the left-hand side, because I think that's where the majority of our attack, is coming from, the left-hand side, of course, as well. I don't think Smalley, had a bad game either, to be quite honest with you as well. But on another day, Manchester United, would have lost that game, because, Watford had a lot of chances. They had the possession as well. And, obviously we was below par against Watford, of course, as well. But the most essential thing is we did get the win, which was the most essential thing. But we've got we've got to step up the performance when we go to Wolves away on Tuesday night, of course, as well. But the good thing was, to see Rashford get his name on the score on the score sheet, of course. Well, it was good to see Martial score as well, and I think they're really, really good players. They're still both young. They've got great talent, of course, as well, of Martial and Rashford. Of course, I thought Rashford's first goal was very, very good. It was a good threaded ball, from Luke Shaw, of course, as well. He lifted it over the goalkeeper, and it was a great finish. But the thing with Marcus Rashford, I'm really impressed, with Rashford. I don't think he's been playing to his potential best, since he has recovered from that ankle injury. Marcus Rashford, I don't think he's been playing, to his potential best. I don't think he's, because usually, he's like lightning. He likes to get the runs in behind, does Marcus Rashford, of course. Well, it wasn't great yesterday, Marcus Rashford, even though he got his name on the score sheet, of course, as well. But I think he's playing more of a key role under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. I think his performances are really improving, mainly. And Marcus Rashford's, of course, as well. He's only 21 years of age. Of course, he's still got a lot of years ahead of him. Of course, as well. But Marcus Rashford, got his name on the score sheet. Of course, yesterday, as well. Saw Martial getting his name on the score sheet as well. Anthony Martial. Obviously, reports coming out about Anthony Martial as well, saying that reportedly it could possibly be a doubt, for a Tuesday night against Wolves. Reportedly, he has sustained an injury, as Anthony Martial reportedly. I think he's set to be assessed. I think tomorrow is Anthony Martial, of course, as well. We don't know the extent of the problem, but I think he's suffered some kind of knock of it as Anthony Martial, of course, as well. So hopefully it's not too severe, and hopefully he can participate against Wolves on Tuesday night, of course, as well. So Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has confirmed he has suffered a knock as Anthony Martial, of course, as well. But there was the majority, there was a lot of bad individual performances yesterday. As I currently said, I thought Matic was poor, Herrera was poor, Pogba wasn't at his heights, of course, as well. Rashford didn't play to his potential best. I thought the movement from Manchester United, was very poor indeed. I don't think there was a lot of tempo. I don't think there was enough determination on the field, of course. Well, we just looked very lethargic, to be quite honest with you, as well. Very slow, indeed. And I thought the difference was, the finishing in the final third. To be quite honest, because obviously when we got our chances, we took our chances. And Watford, to be quite honest with you, I don't think Watford were clinical enough. Watford had a lot of opportunities, but they didn't take them opportunities. I saw Decore's goal. That was a very good goal indeed. Good build-up play. Defensively, we've got to do a much better. With that as well. But at the end of the day, Manchester United got a win. Don't forget, Watford have been playing really well this season. They progressed to the FA Cup semi-final. They're sitting 8th in the league, of course, as well. So the main thing is, that Manchester United, got the victory, of course, as well. So as I was saying, in relation to Paul Pogba, so yeah, I think his role is set to be changed. It's Paul Pogba's, of course. We've got Wolves coming up Tuesday. Then we've got Barcelona coming up in the first leg of the Champions League as well. I think he's set to be playing now in a defensive role, and that's why I think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is going to rotate Paul Pogba, of course, as well. So obviously he wants to see another side of his game. He wants to see what his defensive capabilities are like, because Paul Pogba can show that ability to attack. He can also, show that ability to, to also, defend as well. Can Paul Pogba. But overall, he's been in scintillating form since Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's come in. In his 3-month period, so he's been in really good form as Paul Pogba, and he's been really getting the freedom, to express himself, fantastically well, indeed, of course, as well. But he wasn't good yesterday, so obviously, Solskjaer is considering a tactical switch for him, and he's going to be playing him in a defensive role, of course, as well. But as you can see, when Manchester United, of course, had that injury crisis, especially in the midfield, when Matic was injured, Herrera and that was injured and all that. I thought, when McTominay was playing, and I thought when Andrews Pereira was playing, that the fringe players, they were actually, very impressive indeed. Because when McTominay was playing, he was playing between the lines very well, and he was playing them precise passes. When McTominay was playing well, I thought Andrews Pereira, was playing really well, indeed, as well. But I think since Matic has come back from injury, Matic has come back from injury. I think he's been very disappointing indeed. I think Herrera's been quite disappointing as well, and he was disappointing yesterday, of course, as well. But I still think we need a centre defensive midfielder, that's fast and tenacious, of course, as well. We all know that we need someone on that right hand side. We need someone young and ambitious on that right hand side, and Manchester United need about 3 or 4 players this summer, of course, as well. If we want to get us back to that position, to get us to that commanding position, where we want to be. But as I did say, I do think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, is definitely the right man for Manchester United, without a shadow of a doubt. We do know he's a cheaper alternative, to Pochettino. We do know he's a cheaper alternative, to Zinedine Zidane, of course, as well. But hopefully, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, can elevate us to that higher level. He can get us in that commanding position, and he can get us back up there, challenging and winning trophies, of course, as well. Because in these 3 years now, obviously that's going to be Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's expectation levels, of course, as well. And I do believe, he can do it, to be quite honest with you as well. I think the big problem is obviously the director of football. Obviously, Man United is still looking for the director of football, to come in as well. Obviously we need to change the club structure and all that as well. But it is essential, that we do get the right recruitment in the summer, of course, as well. I think we're going to get a around over 200 odd million pounds to spend this summer, of course, as well. So I do think we need at least 4 players. If if we are to be up there challenging next season, of course, challenging for trophies and possibly winning trophies, of course, as well. And to get us back the way we was under Alex Ferguson, Solskjaer has got to get the right players to Manchester United this summer, of course, as well. Obviously, there's still some contract renewals to sort out, as you're all aware of. Obviously, we know players are going to leave Manchester United this summer. I think Solskjaer did say to Ed Woodward that he wants to sell about 3 players, of course, as well. But obviously this season, obviously we either want to finish in the top 4 or we want to, succeed in the Champions League so we can get Champions League football for next season. So in that aspect, it makes us have more of a competitive summer window. If we do want to get players, at the highest level, we've obviously got to get Champions League football for next season, of course, as well. And we do know Solskjaer's done really, really good job at Manchester United. He was good winning his first game as permanent manager, of course, as well. But obviously, we know we didn't invest back in the January transfer window. Don't forget, we have recently, had a lot of injuries as well. Don't forget, and of course, we didn't spend much last summer, of course, as well. So it is essential that we get the right players, of course, this summer. And I do know a lot of money's been spent, since Alex Ferguson retired. We've had different managers, with different philosophies, and all. About 600-700 odd million pounds has been spent, as we all know, as well. But obviously, Solskjaer now he's the 4th permanent manager, since Alex Ferguson, retired, of course, as well. And obviously, he's in the process of rebuilding this Manchester United team and buying into our history, of course, as well. So it is very, very essential, guys, indeed, that we get the right players to Manchester United this summer. And obviously, Solskjaer is obviously, in discussions with Ed Woodward, what players should come in and what players should leave in the summer, as well. So he's already making plans for the summer and he's emphasising his key targets, of course, as well. And I think he's identified his top 3 targets, as I've already updated you on that, as well. And I think he's monitoring, quite a few young players. He's Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, of course, as well. I think he's interested in bringing, quite a few English players, to come to Manchester United. But it would be ideal, Manchester United, monitoring some young players, that could grow, develop, and mould under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, as well. So he's monitoring, quite a few young players. But in my opinion, Manchester United need a centre back. We need someone that can partner alongside Victor Lindelof. We also need a fullback as well, in my opinion. We do need a right winner, and I think that's Solskjaer's priority, of course, to recommend a right winner to come in. Solskjaer is focusing on other areas of the squad. I don't think he's that bothered about, getting a central defender in this summer. I think he's focusing on other areas of the squad as well. But I do think we need a centre defensive mid without a shadow of a doubt. That's fast and quick. Of course, as well. But as I was saying to you in relation to Paul Pogba, reportedly his role is set to be changed. Reportedly, as well as Paul Pogba's his role set to be changed, and I think he's going to be rotated in more of a defensive role. So this is where I think, Paul Pogba is going to be playing, and this could cost us, going into the game against Barcelona, of course, as well. We do know Paul Pogba is a much better player, when he's attacking, but he also does show that capability, that he can defend as well, Paul Pogba, of course. But anyway, I think reports are saying that I think he could likely leave Manchester United this summer anyway, because obviously Zinedine Zidane likes Paul Pogba a lot, of course, and Zinedine Zidane has suggested that he could that Paul Pogba could join him at Real Madrid, of course, as well. And obviously his recent comments, Paul Pogba has been saying about Real Madrid. Obviously this could have concerns for Solskjaer and Manchester United, of course, as well, because obviously reports have been coming out from Spain saying that his agent Raiola, Paul Pogba's agent Raiola, has had a couple of conversations with Real Madrid, about he's had a couple of conversations with Real Madrid, basically regarding, Paul Pogba's desire to leave Old Trafford and, go to the Santiago Bernabeu, of course, as well, because reports have been coming out from Spain saying that reportedly Paul Pogba has made a decision over his Manchester United future, of course, as well, and I think he's intending on making a move to Madrid this summer, and obviously he's not intending on, spending the rest of his playing career in England, as well. There's also been talks about him possibly making a return back to Juventus. He did have 4 good years in Italy with Juventus as well. Did Paul Pogba, of course, as well. Manchester United paid £89 million for him back in 2016, of course, as well. Our most expensive signing, of course, as well. So I think he wants to leave Manchester United, because obviously he's been talking a lot about Real Madrid. That's a dream to play for them, and all that, as well. So he has been speaking a lot about Real Madrid. I did say reportedly Real Madrid are prepared to pay, are willing to offer around £125 million for Paul Pogba. I think Manchester United did say if any offers do come in the summer, we're willing to reject any offers for Paul Paul Pogba reportedly as well. So we're not willing to sell him this summer. And I think he's demanding an annual wage of around 14 million. Is Paul Pogba, if he is to make a move to Real Madrid? So potentially he's demanding a significant pay rise. So obviously this would make him the highest paid player at Real Madrid, of course, as well. But his agent Raulio, I think, is in the process of finding Paul Pogba a new club as well. Obviously, recent reports did say that he has turned down a contract offer from Manchester United as Paul Pogba as well, because he still remains under contract till 2021, so he has still got over 2 years on his contract, of course, as well as Paul Pogba. But obviously, we know he'd have left if Jose Mourinho would have still been here, of course, as well, because obviously he had a bad relationship in that, with Jose Mourinho, did Paul Pogba, of course, well. But overall, he's been in fantastic form, under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. But he was very, very poor yesterday, was Paul Pogba. So now he's going to be operating in a different role. I think he's going to be playing in more of a defensive role, is Paul Pogba. To be quite honest with you, I think now Solskjaer wants to see another side of his game. To be quite honest with you, as well. So I think Paul Pogba could be on his way out in the summer. Reportedly as well. I think Real Madrid, will link with Paul Pogba. Back in 2016 as well. To be quite honest with you, but obviously Real Madrid, didn't currently get him. Obviously Zinedine Zidane, admires the player a lot, and obviously Zinedine Zidane's planning for the investment this summer, of course, as well. I think Florentino Perez is giving him around £300 million to spend this summer as well. Zinedine Zidane, of course, as well, and he's already identified, quite a few targets. Zinedine Zidane is signed the contract, don't forget, Real Madrid until 2022, of course, well. So I think he's keen on bringing the midfielder, to Real Madrid, is Zinedine Zidane. And Paul Pogba's only 26. He's still got a lot of years ahead of him, to be quite honest with him as well. But I did say he's been in great form under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. And when he's playing in that kind of vein, he's one of the best midfielders in world football, without a shadow of a doubt. His breaks box to box have been good. He's been playing them delicate passes through very, very good. The time of his runs have been absolutely fantastic indeed. But he was very, very poor, yesterday against Watford, of course, as well. So I think he could be on his way to Real Madrid this summer, of course, as well. As I did say, there's been talks about him reportedly possibly going back to Juventus and all that. Barcelona, of course, were linked to him last year, of course, as well. But obviously, Solskjaer and Manchester United, obviously, don't want to lose Paul Pogba, of course, well. So in that area, I think we need to reinvest, of course, as well. And obviously, if you have been hearing news going on about Ander Herrera, of course, as well, there has been news, going on about that as well. And his future's still uncertain with Manchester United, of course, is Ander Herrera's, as we all know, as well. His future is uncertain with Manchester United, is Ander Herrera's. Because obviously, reports have been coming out, as I was hearing, that PSG have reportedly, showed an interest in Ander Herrera. He did admit PSG's interest is logical to him, and all this. Obviously, Manchester United in the process still in talks, of getting him a new contract, of course, as well. So hopefully somewhere along the line, he can remain loyal at Manchester United. This is his 5th season now in the process with Manchester United. Is Ander Herrera's, of course. Obviously, he was really, really poor yesterday, but I think overall, mainly, his performances have really, really improved under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer with Ander Herrera. He's been mainly breaking the play very, very well. He's been fitting that midfield trio very, very good as well. Defensive capabilities have been good, and he's a good ball playing midfielder. We know there's better than Ander Herrera out there, of course, as well. And if he is to leave in the summer, obviously Manchester United are going to need a replacement for him as well. But this is 5th season now at Manchester United. Did reportedly say that PSG are willing to offer him £150,000 a week, plus a 3-year deal as well, because obviously PSG are planning for the investment this summer. Obviously Thomas Tuchel, of course, I think he's keen on getting someone alongside Marco Verratti in their midfield, because obviously it's looking likely Adrien Rabiot's out for PSG this summer. He's leaving PSG this summer, when his contract expires. So reportedly they've identified Ander Herrera as a potential good replacement for Adrien Rabiot, of course, as well. But recent reports did say he wants to stay. He's keen on signing a contract extension with Manchester United, of course, as well. It also said that Arsenal had also, showed an interest in Ander Herrera as well. So hopefully he can remain loyal and he can stay at Manchester United, of course, as well. We do know, of course, guys, the other players, that Manchester United, of course, that are going to leave in the summer, and other players that are going to leave in the summer. We know Valencia, of course, is on his way out of the club, as we all know, as well. He's been here since 2009, and this is his 10th season now at Manchester United, as we all know, is Antonio Valencia's, of course, as well. And obviously we opted against the decision to give him that new 1-year contract extension. So obviously he comes to an end of his contract at the end of the season, and he's on his way out of Manchester United this summer, of course, as well. You've got Ashley Young, of course, as well, now who's passed it, to be quite honest with you, as well. Ashley Young's 33 years of age, and by the time this 1-year contract extension expires, he'll be nearly 35 years years of age. Well, last young. And over years, he has been essential. He has grown and developed, fantastically well. Indeed, he's been here a good, 7, 8 seasons now. But Ash Young's really, really past it now, to be quite honest with you. So I do think we need someone at that right back position, to be quite honest with you. We do need someone, I think, we need someone at that right back position. We need an upgrade to Ashley Young. We need an upgrade to Antonio Valencia, of course, as well. And we do need someone young and ambitious on that right hand side, because Valencia's on his way out. Young's obviously on his way out as well. I don't know if he'll leave in the summer, but he'll probably leave more than likely when his 1 year contract extension, expires. To be quite honest with you, as well. I do think, possibly Marcus Rojo could be on his way out of Manchester United, this summer, of course, as well. I think Marcus Rojo, to be quite honest with you guys, I think, obviously his Manchester United career has been affected, with the amount of injuries, he's currently mad and all that, Marcus Rojo. So he's endured a very, very difficult time at Manchester United. Of course, he's just recovered from a long-term absence as well as Marcus Rojo. So potentially, he could be on his way out of Manchester United as well. I think Darmian could be on his way out of Manchester United in the summer as well, because he's endured a very, very difficult time at Manchester United. We do know that probably Sanchez is on his way out of Manchester United as well as Alexis Sanchez, because obviously he's endured a difficult time as a Manchester United player, as we all know as well. He's been here just over a year. I think he's set to be come back into contention in April. Is Alexis Sanchez at the moment. Of course, he's got a knee injury as well. But when he has been given the opportunity to play, he just looks so restricted. It just looks as though he hasn't been getting that freedom. It just looks as though he hasn't been getting that freedom around Alexis Sanchez. He's no longer playing at that highest level anymore. And I think Solskjaer has lost faith in him. He's lost trustworthy in Alexis Sanchez, of course, as well. Obviously, considering his substantial wages he's on, it's obviously going to be hard to find a buyer for Sanchez this summer, of course, as well. So Manchester United may consider loaning him out, or unless Sanchez is willing to take some kind of a wage cut or something like that as well. But Sanchez, he's lacked goals and all that, and it just emphasises how ineffective Sanchez has been, when he has been playing, of course, as well. So I think we're willing to get rid of him, of course, in the summer. Of course, he's on the decline, is Sanchez, of course, as well. And obviously, I think, Fred, I don't think he's a long-term solution for Manchester United, in my opinion. But really, Fred hasn't been really given the opportunity, to be quite honest with you. We only got him last summer from Shakhtar Donetsk, of course, as well. Obviously, he's got strong reservations about his game time. He hasn't really had the opportunity, when we had that injury crisis. Of course, Fred got a couple of opportunities, and I don't think Fred was that impressive, to be quite honest with you. So I'm not sure if he's a long-term solution, to be quite honest with you, as well. So players are definitely going to leave Manchester United in the summer. Pogba could be on his way out in the summer, maybe the Herrera as well could be on his way out in the summer as well. So I do think Manchester United need at least 4 players this summer, of course, as well. And the good news is, that came out, of course, that Marcus Rashford, as I did say, is on the verge of signing a new deal with Manchester United, which is very, very good. Obviously, now that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is permanent Manchester United boss, of course, as well, is this obviously, convinced, Marcus Rashford, to remain loyal to Manchester United and sign a new long-term contract with Manchester United as well, which is very, very good. So he's set to commit his long-term future in Manchester United. Manchester United have obviously been negotiating with his representatives over getting him a new contract, of course, as well. So he's set to sign a new 5-year deal, of course, as well, a new 5-year deal worth around £150,000 a week. So this potentially will make him the fifth highest paid player at Manchester United, of course, as well. And it's very, very good, that he's remaining loyal. He wants to sign a new long-term contract with Manchester United, of course, well, just like Martial did. He signed a new long-term contract as well. So obviously now we know Marcus Rashford still remains under contract till 2020. At the moment, I think there still is an option of a further year as well. But overall, his performances have been fantastic, of course, and I don't think he's been his potential best, as I said earlier on in the video, since he's recovered from that ankle injury, of course, as well. But he's still on the young, Rashford, and he's growing, developing, and he's flourishing fantastically well, of course. As I did say, being United player since the age of 7 and all that, progressing up the ranks, fantastically well, indeed. So obviously he's set to stump Barcelona. As obviously Real Madrid have also, been interested in him before as well. But he's set to remain loyal to Manchester United, of course, which is very, very good news indeed. So he's set to sign a new 5-year deal worth around £150,000 a week, which is very, very good indeed. And obviously, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, as we all know, guys, as I keep currently updating you, and I think he's identified his top three targets, as reports did currently say the other day. So I think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer showed an interest in Crystal Palace's Aaron Wan-Bissaka, who's very, very young. He's one of England's youngest upcoming prospects. West Ham's Declan Rice has also been mentioned, and obviously the number one priority target is obviously Borussia Dortmund's Jadon Sancho, of course, as well. So reportedly, that Solskjaer's expressed an interest in them three players. Reportedly, they could cost in total of around £170 million. Could them three players, of course, as well. Aaron Wan-Bissaka, right back, Declan Rice, defensive midfielder. Well, can play as a centre back, but I think he's mainly a holding midfielder, and he's obviously still young, so he's still got a lot of years ahead of him. Declan Rice, and obviously Jadon Sancho, a right winner, of course, as well. But I think that's our priority. Where we do want to strengthen up this summer, of course, as well. And there's other targets, that Manchester United have been interesting as well. We do obviously need a centre back, and we need a centre back to come to Manchester United. We do need someone that can partner alongside Victor Lindelof, because Baye's future is uncertain because he's been in and out of the team this season. Jones's future is uncertain as well with Manchester United. So we need someone that that can partner alongside Victor Lindelof, of course, as well. And there's been quite a few defenders we've been interested in. Of course, as well, but we do need someone that can partner alongside Victor Lindelof. As I did say, I think the left-hand side is okay, to be quite honest with you, as well. But yeah, definitely, investment is definitely, needed into Manchester United. Of course, if we are going to be, challenging and being up there next season, competing with the likes of City and Liverpool, Manchester United have got to spend in the summer, because we do know other teams are going to, invest this summer, of course, as well. But as I did currently say, we need to get a director of football, to come to Manchester United, of course, as well. We need to change the club structure and all that, and it's essential that Manchester United, get the right recruitment this summer. We've got to get the right players in, of course, as well, and that is the most essential thing, as we all know. I think £200 million probably will be enough for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, to get the players he wants. We've got a board that can invest, of who he demands, who he wants to bring to Manchester United, of course, this summer, as well. But obviously, overall under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, it's been really, really good. Overall, the performances have been really, really good. The results have been really, really good, more or less, of course, as well. And obviously, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is the right man for Manchester United. He knows the club inside out, from being a great player for 11 years, of course, as well, winning trophies, scoring a lot of goals, as well. One of his most iconic moments, obviously, was 20 years ago when he was a player in 1999 when he scored against Bayern Munich, when he, of course, when he won us the treble, of course, as well. And I think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is the right man for Manchester United, without a shadow of a doubt, indeed. Obviously, he's a much cheaper alternative, as I did say, to Pochettino and Zinedine Zidane, of course, as well. He's a much cheaper alternative, as we all know, as well. And obviously, yesterday in that game against Watford, I was disappointed with a lot of the aspects of the game, of course, as well. But obviously, we got the victory. We move on to Wolves on Tuesday. Obviously, more things will update in relation, to the Martial injury. Reportedly, Martial has reportedly suffered an injury. We don't know yet the extent of the problem and all that. I think it's some kind of knock. Martial has currently suffered. It wasn't too long ago himself. He actually had a groin problem. Anthony Martial, of course, as well. But big breaking news on this video is to give you an update on Paul Pogba. That reports are coming out saying that reportedly Paul Pogba his role is set to be changed by Ole Gunnar Solskjaer reportedly as well, and he's set to operate in more of a defensive role. Is Paul Pogba, so he's obviously considering a tactical swift. Is Ole Gunnar Solskjaer for Paul Pogba, of course, as well, because obviously he didn't hit the heights yesterday. Paul Pogba was actually very, very ineffective, and obviously our midfield was totally poor yesterday. To be quite honest with you, as well. So obviously Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is rotating Paul Pogba now, of course, as well. But I think he could be on his way out in the summer, and obviously we know Solskjaer is in the process of rebuilding this Manchester United team. Of course, he's buying into our history, but he's done a great job, as I said. Because obviously we're in the top four now. Everyone ruled us out, when he came in, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, because obviously we was 11 points behind top four when Ole Gunnar Solskjaer first came in, of course, as well. But I think we can definitely get top three if we can take at least 15 points out of the remainder of these 7 games. We've got a great chance of getting that top 3. We're still not in this period, in these 7 games. We've still got City to play at Old Trafford. We've still got Chelsea to play at Old Trafford, of course, as well, as we all know. So I think, now with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, planning, to rotate Paul Pogba, I think this could now cost us, when we do play Barcelona, of course, as well, because obviously they've got the likes of Ivan Rakitic, of course, as well. You've got the likes of Ousmane Dembele, coming coming up against Luke Shaw, Lionel Messi, and that, and Luis Suarez, if he's available, coming up against the likes of Smalling and Lindelof, and all that as well. So that's going to be a test for our defence, of course, as well. So I think Paul Pogba's role is set to be changed, reportedly, of course, as well. So I think he's now set to be playing in more of a holding defensive midfielder, reportedly as well. So he's set to play in more of a deeper role. Is Paul Pogba, of course, as well. So anyway, guys, drop your comments below on the channel. If you do consider subscriber to the channel, as always, and take care. God bless, guys, and I'll see